Hello BookTube! Today I'm also going to be doing the reading text tag. This tag was created by Kevin Towle Reads, and I will leave a link to his channel in the show notes down below. Question 1. Do you only read at a specific time of day? Yes. During the work week, Monday through Friday, I read starting at 2 and read until either 6:30 or when I have completed the book or books that I have set out to read during that time. Although I do break to make supper and to eat and to clean up. During the weekends, as Saturday and Sunday, I read pretty much all day. Question number 2. Do you prefer to read in your work everyday clothes, or are you partial to reading in PJs or comfy clothes? Everyday clothes. Question number 3. What is your favorite reading spot? Couch, chair, bed, outdoors, somewhere else. So I read in a specific spot on the couch in the living room. Question number 4. Do you snack while reading, or is this a no-go? If I snack, it's when I'm taking a break, not while I'm reading. Question number 5. Do you have or have ever peeked at the end of a book, or do you avoid spoilers at all costs? Sometimes I do peek and read ahead in whatever it is I'm reading. Question number 6. Do you prefer first person or third person narrative, or do you care? I don't really care. They're both equally as well. Although I think sometimes first person can be a bit more difficult to do than third person. Question number 7. Do you read dedications, author's notes, acknowledgments, or do you skip those? It depends. Sometimes I will read them and sometimes I will skip them. Question number 8. Do you have a favorite reading beverage? Again, I will be taking a break from reading while I drink something, and it's usually water. Question number 9. How do you decide what to read next? TBR, mood goals, random choice. I try to plan out my reading based on whatever is happening on BookTube and where my interests are currently lying. So since we are almost to April, I'll give you a bit of an example of my thought processes towards my April reading plans without going into too much detail, because I'll do that in a separate video. So I pretty much have my manga reading plans set. I know the series that I'm going to be reading over the course of 2025. I'm going to be dedicating a good chunk of my reading time to reading manga series that I have fully collected and that has finished its run. And some of these series are incredibly long and will take me about 2 weeks to read, say Fairy Tail, Naruto, and some are considerably shorter and won't take me as long. This month, 2 examples, Death Note and Pluto. One is 12 volumes long, the other is 8 volumes long. So my reading in April is going to be a relatively shorter series, although longer than both Death Note and Pluto. And I'm also going to be reading the March new releases because I'm not going to get them until probably either March 31st or April 1st. If I'm lucky, I'll find that out once Book People lets me know that my March pre-orders have shipped. And if I'm lucky, I might also be able to get my April manga pre-orders in, but I don't know for sure. I need to go back and check to see when the latest one released is compared to when the end of the month is. It's highly likely I will probably start my May readings with the April new releases, but I'll get to that when I get to it. And then, of course, I'll be reading whatever manga I haul in, because there are a lot of manga series that I'm hauling in that are either completed, that I'm working on completing, or that are still ongoing, that I need to kind of get caught up on before I can start doing the pre-order ritual with, like I do with the ones that I am caught up on. Moving on to other things, so in April there's People April, National Poetry Month, and Aussie April, and also Historathon, even though my Historathon has not gone very well at all. But anyway, eventually, if I ever do get around to talking about the history part of my reading history, I'll mention I think I've lost interest in history, which is kind of annoying because I have a whole lot of books and I have not gotten to half of them. Anyway, so for poetry, I'm thinking I could either do a reread of a really big anthology, or not anthology, like a really big collected volume or selected volume of a specific poet's poetry. I could also haul in some new poetry, because I'm kind of thinking about doing that. Or I could select some of the poetry collections that I've already read, mainly the slim volumes of poetry, and do some kind of weird competition thing with them. And that's my thoughts with poetry. People April, I know I mentioned in another video about big books that I was thinking about Grain by Ron Chernow, but I'm also thinking maybe I could read biographies of maybe Matilda by Catherine Hanley or Elizabeth I by Anne Somerset. Not entirely sure. For Aussie April, I don't have much in the way of Australian literature, so I'd have to haul some. And I'm thinking there's one for sure I'm starting to lean towards picking up, and I'm thinking about maybe a second one, but I haven't made a firm decision yet. It depends upon the price and where I can find it. And then Historathon, I could probably pull something and hope it works. But yeah, so that's my thought processes about like how I sort of form a TBR or a reading plan. And I will, of course, talk a lot more about this as April gets closer and I actually have decided what I want to do. So anyway, BookTube, that was the reading ticks tag. If you'd like to do this tag, if you haven't already done it, please consider doing it. Anyway, BookTube, that's all I have for today. So thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.